For Geekify TV, I'm Defender Derek, this is Xevious Mike, and we're playing you!
This week, Bethesda proved that it doesn't have as much disdain for PS3 users as originally thought. Releasing the popular DLC Dunwall City for their hit game Dishonored on both the PS3 and Xbox 360. Playing You has received an internal memo from Bethesda. Well, we don't think it's a real system. We can only push PS3 users so far. Let them feast on these tidbits we give them now and let it sate them for the time being. Give them these morsels of information while we plot their destruction. Evil laughter. Oh, I'm guessing the memo meant to laugh evilly. Ha 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 ha! Derek?
We here at Geekify TV like to honor our fallen heroes and veterans. Likewise, users of the popular social networking site Facebook have erected a permanent memorial to fallen XCOM soldiers. Regardless of being killed in action or dying from an untimely car explosion, their bits will forever remain in Facebook's heavenly cloud.
Who cares section of the week?
Who cares?
The VGA Awards. The show, hosted by Samuel L. Jackson, came out this week and had several interesting or not so interesting highlights. First up being Game of the Year on the Wii U. Super Mario Bros. U, while not winning for Best Original Title, won for Best Game on the Wii U. As far as I knew, this was the only game out for the Wii U. In addition, the PS3 game Journey took the top spot for this year's Best PS3 Game. In a heart-wrenching speech, the creator of the game stood on stage and said, "This is crazy. Just a few years ago, I was a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. I took the midnight train going anywhere, and that anywhere led me to PS3.
This
Derek?
week, game developer Valve announced their intentions to create a next-gen console which will feature their library of games. In an already saturated market, the major threat to current publishers is that the Steam platform will be able to deliver their content at lower cost to an established user base, as it has already done with the PC.
This week, G4 TV became Esquire Magazine TV. To put this in terms that gamers will understand, their fan base power went from 85% down to 36%, and their douchebag rating went up by an astounding 88%. This is with the addition to their equipment of the douchebag shows and Axe commercials.
A recent
Derek?
report from the FTC has indicated concerns that mobile games targeted towards children collect and share personal information with social networking sites to display targeted ads. Even more alarming is the fact that most of the sharing is done without the user's or parents' knowledge, leading the FTC to urge more care be taken on the part of the developers and
Were
distributors.
you a Super Nintendo gamer? Do you have fond childhood memories playing Super Mario All-Stars, a game which was originally released for the Nintendo? Or Super insert name here? Well, if you do, you'll be interested to know that on eBay, an auction came up for a Super Nintendo and all 721 games released in the United States for it. For the low cost of $24,999, you can place your opening bid on this system, which took its seller 3 years to compile and make sure every game works. In addition, each game comes in the original box and original packaging, so make sure you have plenty of room in your house for this collection. With that much fun and such an easily affordable bundle, I can't think of any reason why you wouldn't jump on this experience.
I could think of 720.
Which game?
Sonic the Hedgehog. Now it's time for Xevious Mike's moment.
There are things more important than video games. Things that transcend whether or not Halo is the most overhyped game ever, or Altair was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. This week's thing that's more important than games is the release of The Hobbit. Now, it's no secret that I spent much of my youth reading The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. One time, I dashed around with a homemade sword pretending to be Aragorn. Another time, I fashioned a bow and arrow and took my shot at being Legolas. That's why this week's release of The Hobbit, Part 1, is so important to gamers everywhere. What better way to relive your childhood than standing outside in the freezing cold with your friends dressed as a character from the Lord of the Rings trilogy? After the movie, you can retreat back to your mother's basement and play some Dungeons & Dragons and wonder what it feels like to kiss a girl. Ah, the high school memory. So this weekend, rather than go on a raid with your World of Warcraft friends, turn off your Xbox and go down to the theater in real life and see The Hobbit Part 1. You'll be glad you did, and you'll feel like a kid again.
That's all for this week's show. For Geekified TV, I'm Defender Derek, this is Xevious Mike, and you have been played!